So let's introduce Frankie Desario. Frankie Desario, who I knew personally, as I do most of the people who I interview, he was a Boston police officer. As a matter of fact, he was badge number 1 when he retired. He had gone to the DA's office, worked with my dad way back in the 60s, but due to a lot of reasons which he'll explain in his videos, he left the DA's office and went back to a patrolman. And by the time he retired, he was badge number 1 in the Boston Police Department. Well, Frankie has some great stories to tell of that period in the 60s and 70s when the Gangland situation was running amok in Boston.
Chico Amico was a young wannabe from basically was from Swampscott, East Boston, and I knew him from the court because he'd be forever in the court on a different assault and battery. So we knew each other. He spent all his time in East Boston. He was a close ally of Joe Barboza. He idolized Joe Barboza. Barboza was a guy from Fall River, New Bedford, who got recruited by Angiolo at first as a leg breaker. He saw all the money that was being taken in by the mafia, got hooked up with Stevie. Stevie went to Whitey, and they got Joe Barboza to work for Whitey Bulger, along with Stevie, Johnny Materano. So so Chico and Barboza were in a downtown area. And there's a place in there called the Living Room. It's a known fact. It was in all the newspapers, owned by the local guys. Well, the Living Room was on Stewart Street. It was a local bar owned by Peter Fiumara, who was associated with the mafia guys. And Joe Barboza, along with Chico Amico, walked in. And Fiumara didn't know who they were. And they started talking, and Fiumara said, "What do you want? Who are you?" And one of the two, Barboza or Amico, said, "We are your new partners." Fiumara lost his temper and started telling him to screw. We got this information from other people, either Barboza or Amico. Cut Fiumara from ear to ear. I remember visiting him in the hospital. And I remember my lieutenant asking him, "Who did this?" And naturally, they didn't say anything, but he knew. Now he knows. And anyway, the word is out. The word is out. Who? Barboza, even though they didn't know him at the scene, word got out, Barboza and Amico. One of the two did it. So now there's a contract out on both of them. Shortly after that, Amico, this is the word that we got. Amico tried to get into a joint in the combat area that was owned by the local guys, the North End local guys. And they wouldn't let him in. They wouldn't let Chico in because they knew this is one of Barboza's friends. Amico proceeds to call the local guy, some words, mother this, mother that. Make a long story short, there's a contract put out on Chico Amico. He's the one that cut Fiumara. He leaves. They throw him out, throw him down the stairs. Amico calls him every name in the book. And we go to work the next day, whatever happened. And the lieutenant calls us in and said, "This guy got stabbed in the North End. We can expect a lot to be happening. Something's going to be going on."